What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Dash today. It is the 6th day of November. Here we are sitting at about $115 right now. We've got how much time left? 7 hours, 23 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. If you guys remember yesterday, I don't remember exactly at what point yesterday. It was somewhere around these areas here at the lows. Maybe not the exact low itself, but we were expecting that we would see a move up, right? A move up, something that could take us, not that it would, but that it could take us as high as $170. Let's just look here real quick, just so we're all on the same page. High to low here, right? Our golden ratio extensions all the way up there at about $171. So it could take us up there, but really, regardless of if we get to this level, just above it, just below it, whatever it is, what we're expecting is some kind of slightly higher high with some bearish divergence to mark a relative double top. We consolidate, we come back down, and then we make a rally some point later, right? Right now we're in the midst, I think, of a consolidation phase. Now, to be completely fair, with what we're doing here, moving down to the 1272 like this, finding support, this 4-hour candle, you got 3 hours, 22 minutes left. That's a very nice wick. It is completely possible. It is completely possible that we do progress higher. It is. I want you to understand that if today, or any day, really, closes above $171, if we close above this golden ratio, the probability that we go to $250 or higher before consolidating at all, the probability that we do that goes up tremendously. Now, let me say that again so that nobody's confused, because words can be confusing. Let's get this straight. If we move up above $171 but close below, that does not mean we're going here. It likely means we found resistance, we probably pull back. If we go up here and we do close above the golden ratio, then we likely do persist higher. Now, if it's 1 cent above, it's kind of iffy. If it's like a dollar above or $2 above or more than that, then it's pretty definite that we are going to prices above $250 before we get any kind of substantial consolidation. Now, I'm not talking about this because I think this is what's going to happen. I'm talking about this just in case it happens, just in case we're off in our assumptions, because you never know, right? These things are crazy. Next thing you know, 2 minutes goes by and boom, you're all the way up here. Well, the idea that we had is busted. Now what? This is what? This is what it would be. If I'm wrong, $250 to $300 is where we would be going, right? If I'm wrong. But I'm not making this video to try to be wrong. I'm making this video to try to be right, right? I'm trying to give an accurate forecast here. And what I'm seeing, just based off of my experience, is the potential setup for a double top. So I want to look at this with volume on it. Yes, let's use Coinbase. So here, notice the amount of volume you had. Notice the amount of volume you had here. This was a lot of volume, but it was a kind of like a one-off, wasn't it, right? The very next candle, we actually dropped down a good bit. We're still down from the closing point of this high. It didn't persist. Where here, when we had good volume at this level, what happened afterwards? We persisted. We kind of consolidated, but we persisted. When we had good volume at this level here, what did we do? We persisted higher. So a little bit of a difference there, and not to the positive effect. That makes me think that there is profit taking going on, right? People that were down here who wish they took profits up here, they didn't have a chance to, but boom, there you go. You gave them a chance. Again, that chance was taken away. Now they're going to get another chance. I'm assuming that there's a lot of people who bought up here, who buy here, who buy here, who are thinking, you know what, maybe I should take profits, or you know what, maybe I bought the high, I should get out now and buy a crypto that's at a discount, not on a premium, but at a discount, right? Something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised in the least if we did see 4-hour candles closing above $135. That still remains to be the call. Now, how high do we go after that? I don't know. We could close above $135 right there. We close at 137. Boom. Then we go down. It could be that simple. Maybe we progress all the way up to 171 and then we come down, right? Maybe we wick right up there. We close higher, whatever, and then we come down. A 4-hour close above 171 does not absolve us of going lower. A daily close above 171 will absolve us of going lower, or at least consolidating here, right? We'd push on to $250 or $300 and then consolidate. I am anticipating another outcome in which maybe I was wrong. Maybe, you know, this call that we had yesterday, this call that we're making today, maybe we don't go up here and form a double top. Maybe this was our second attempt and that's all we have. Regardless of what happens, I hope it's very clear. And in case it's not, let me make it abundantly clear right now. I very much am under the belief, or of the belief, that that Dash, sorry, will see prices that are at either $93 or $70, somewhere in between, but most likely it would either be $93 exactly, like right there, give or take a dollar, or $69 exactly, right? And maybe even just below there. It's quite possible. You might be hearing this, and again, I say this every time, you might be hearing that and thinking, $69 C-Zar, that's a 53% drop, 54% drop. That's crazy. Don't you know this thing's bullish as hell? Yeah, it is bullish as hell. But 30 to 60% drops are actually very common, even in the midst of crazy phenomenal moves in crypto, right? We've seen it already from a high to a low that we've dropped 46%. What? We can't drop less than 10% more than that? We can't drop a whole 54%? I wouldn't be surprised if we found support right there at $93. I really wouldn't be surprised, but there's prior areas of resistance here, and off of powerful movements, pulling back to your 382 to find support, it's such a common thing to do. It is such a common thing to do. From a low here to a high here, you pulled back, you found initial support at your 382. Then you moved up, you rejected your 236, so you went down, right? We already found support at the 382 here. I'm just asking for the same thing. But because the move has gotten bigger, the drop is a little bit bigger. But big drops come big pumps, right? Or big pumps, big drops are becoming of big pumps. I don't know what it is that I'm trying to say there. Let me just see if I can find an example of this, right? For example, here, in the process of a move that overall from a low here to a high there, we saw a nice, I don't know, 7.5x. In the process of that 7.5x, we dumped here from a high to a low 52% one time, right? And we did that in like a week. High to a low here, we dropped 44%, right? And we did another probably like a 40% drop right there as well, right? Several times before we actually topped off. So again, that kind of volatility is just very, very normal for cryptos like this. But just being honest, speaking from the heart, speaking from what I believe is going to happen, I don't think that we go below $93. Or if we do, I think we barely go below this level. I think we will hold 93. What I'm expecting is that we get below 100. We get close to $93, which is close to 90. At that point, people are going to capitulate. Oh my God, why am I buying Dash? It broke back below $100. That's going to cause capitulation just because of the psychological significance of $100. But the reality is $100 isn't significant at all. It's the levels around $100 that are significant. And I think $93 will hold as support, okay? That's what we're looking for ultimately. Regardless of my theory, regardless of the thought that we see a double top, a higher closing high here, and we get bearish divergence, another drive of bearish divergence, whether that happens or doesn't happen, the thought is ultimately that we will pull back to this $93 level. And if we don't find support there, if we do not find support there, it's very likely that we go down to $69. I want to be clear in what I'm saying here as well, okay? If Dash does not hold $93, if we go to $90 or $88, the statistical probability that we go to $69 is dramatically higher. Okay, the likelihood that we find support at $88 is not likely at all. The likelihood that we find support at $81 is not likely at all. It's most likely that we'd find support at $69 based off of this fib. Okay, we could find support here based off of other price areas, and it's something to keep an open mind to. But just by the way of the fibs, typically you either find support at the 236, or if you don't show respect at it, you likely do go to the 382. Okay, just being transparent there. And again, a 54% drop is what that would imply from a high to a low, and that's pretty standard stuff in crypto. It's a pretty standard procedure, okay? Especially in the midst of hype and mania like this. Anyways, getting into the indicators, getting into the actual TA instead of just explaining what I'm thinking is going to happen here. The 1 hour time frame here, we got into the overbought zone, out of it. I mean, overall, the RSI is productive, but overall, you do have lower highs coming in, right? This one is diverging away from this trend line here. It's not that you had a hard time getting overbought, it's just that you had a harder time than you have any of these other moments, right? Short-lived experience, lesser reading than anything else that we've seen. The tide is turning. You had a lot of volume here, but it didn't persist. It's quite possible, again, that I'm wrong, because the assumption here was that we'd move up, we'd see a double top, and then we'd move down, we'd get a higher high furthering that bearish divergence. But we could just stop here at a lower high. It is very possible that is all we get before we move lower. Okay, maybe we do move lower from here. High to low, right there at the golden ratio. Tipped the golden ratio, pulled all the way back to the 236. It's just difficult to say because right now, with the 1 hour candle that we have presented in front of us right here, presently, it wouldn't be crazy at all to expect higher prices. But also, because we've interacted with the 236, it wouldn't be crazy at all to assume lower prices. So we're kind of in limbo here. right? Whereas yesterday, I was very confident wherever we were yesterday, talking about prices that would be up here or even a little bit above or even at 171. Today, I'm a little bit less confident. I'm not saying it can't happen. And again, if we do go to 171, don't get too excited. Double top territory, right? That's what we're looking at. Bearish divergence territory. But my expectation regardless, again, if we go up, if we consolidate here, whatever, we do move down to that $93 or lower level. Again, 93 bucks, you guys, looking at this here, $93 is a perfect target. It's the 236 of the overall fib, and you're interacting with prior resistance points as well, finding support there. That's actually not a bad outlook. That's good structure. Okay, we can find a little bit of support down there. That's fine. Looking at the stochastics, bearish, but we're at a point to bounce. We're also at a point to bounce on the RSI. The MACD is bullish. It's hard to say. 4-hour time frame here. Now, the RSI here is telling us a little bit of a different story, isn't it? Where here, you got overbought, no problem. Here, you bounced off the overboughts and you got overbought, no problem. Now we have a lower high. We have bearish divergence. Here, you actually struggled to get overbought. You rejected the overbought zone there, didn't you? That's not a good look. And this actually does make me think that RSI looking the way it does, it kind of influences me. It heavily influences me, I should say, that we are not going to see a higher closing high than this. That my whole theory that we'd get up here, close right above here, get another drive of bearish divergence on this RSI, that theory might be out the window with the close that we just had on this 4-hour candle. So it's quite possible that that was it, that this was your secondary selling point here, and now we're going to go lower, right? But again, nothing crazy. We're at 114 now. $93 is not that crazy. And it is completely possible that we don't find support at 93. Maybe we do find support down here at 80 bucks, 90 bucks, whatever, something in this range. But again, that overall fib, the lower we close below 93, the statistical probability goes up that we do go to $69 to $70, something down in that area there. The MACD is bearish, or it's bullish overall, but a little bit bearish at the moment. Stochastics, bullish overall because the oscillators are above the zero. Bearish at the moment because, well, if you're looking here, you're actually building bearish momentum. Might you come down, get a slightly lower low, get some bullish divergence here on the MACD, bounce right off of prior resistance points. Hey, I'm just speaking here, man. It makes sense to me. All right, it makes sense to me. Stochastics finding a little turbulence here as well, not conducive to continuation up. I really do think, we had the right thought here, but it's just not going to come to fruition. I think that, I'm feeling confident enough to say that I think this is the high. But again, if I'm wrong, if this is not the high, if we do, in fact, move up higher and we do what we were thinking we'd do yesterday, we get a higher close here, a double top, and then we come down, that's fine. As long as we don't close the day above 171. The only thing that would bust this plan of a retracement back down below $100 is if we do close a day above like $171. If we can close today or any day above 171, the thought of retracing back to 93 or lower goes out the window entirely. We're not stopping until we see 250 or higher. Okay, inevitably we're going to get there, but at the moment I feel very confident in that pullback to $93. Okay, a modest minor consolidation phase right here. That's all we're going to get. Okay, stochastics here look bearish at the moment, so come down, bounce at the 50. You can afford a little bit of a drop. The RSI looks nice that you're bouncing here, but you could probably afford a little bit of a drop too. You got very overbought above the 90, come down, close today red, close tomorrow red even, whatever. Come down, cool off, bounce, live to fight another day, right? And then with that, you'll probably form some bearish divergence. Or maybe just like this, as soon as you get rid of your bearish divergence, that's whenever you come down, right? It wasn't when you had bearish divergence that you found resistance. It was after you got rid of it, then you consolidated, right? I'm expecting this consolidation phase that we're going through right now to be small, but whenever we do move up higher, whenever we do move up to that $250 level or $200 level, whatever the case may be, I wouldn't be surprised if this consolidation phase was a little bit larger, in comparison to this here, something like that, right? This might be a week or less. This might be 2 weeks or more, something like that, right? Or about that. Daily time frame here could go lower. It's still very bullish. Stochastics are very bullish, but again, you can go lower and still maintain that bullishness. Bounce off the 50. I think it would look better. And the MACD, you're decaying in bearish or in bullish momentum, but overall you look fantastic. So no qualms there. Let's get to the exciting part. Let's talk about where Dash is going to go. Okay. Inevitably, Dash, you will move higher. Okay. From a high here to your low here, you found some turbulence at the golden ratio. It's absurdly common to go from your golden ratio to your 0.5 or 382 area. And the 0.5, 382 doesn't mean that we have to hit this area, but something around there. You can stop just above it. It is possible. But the 0.5 is right now at about $91. $91 is just below. It's just below $93, right? Oh, see, in here I thought it was $93 the whole time. It looks like it's 90. Okay, guys, so I misspoke. That red line, I must have drawn it. We were on the daily time frame, so I must have just drawn it from here. Yes, that's it, 93. Maybe 93 is where we'd go. 69 makes sense, right? Prior resistance there. But being on the weekly time frame, I think that's the appropriate low to gauge from. In which case, I would say 90 cents is, or $90 is the more appropriate outcome there. So $90, which also comes directly in line with our 0.5 area here. I think we'll find support right there at $90, you guys. That's my expectation. But again, if I'm wrong, $60, $65, somewhere in that range could hold the support, maybe $70, something like that as well. I doubt that we move that low, but anything can happen. Crazy things happen. Nothing wrong with back testing prior resistance for support, okay? And just based off of this very significant fib from last cycle's high to the bear market low here, based off of that, finding support somewhere between $90, $91, and $61 seems like the most likely outcome from here. Because again, from this golden ratio to the 0.5382 area, that's a very common outlook. You would typically expect to find support here, or somewhere in between, and then build higher. The next area to consider when we do build higher is the 786 to 886 area, which is at about $234 to $328, somewhere in that range, which lines up pretty well. Lines up pretty well with our $250 to $300 expectation here, right? Lines up pretty well with that target. So I think we'll land somewhere in here. Why can't I talk? I think we will land somewhere in here by the end of November, $250 to $300, and then we'll undergo more serious consolidation that might last for a couple weeks or more. I've got nothing else. I do believe Dash continues higher. I do believe it'll see $1,000 or more by the end of the cycle, but we'll go over that as time progresses. It's at $113 now. It's a perfectly suitable area to buy, but I would just tell myself if I'm looking to buy here, right? If anybody's got the question, is it a good time to buy? Should I wait to buy? Should I sell? Whatever. I don't think it's a good time to sell. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I mean, if you buy it here, sure. Sell here, reallocate into any of the coins that haven't moved up yet. That might be smart. But really, if you buy here, it's fine. Just anticipate that we could go to $90, okay? Or lower, or even lower. And if you can stomach that, not financial advice, not financial advisor, then sure, it's a good time to buy. But I think if you wait a day or two, maybe even a few days, you'll have some better results and better areas to get in. If I was looking to buy this coin, I would probably set my buy orders up from $95 to $90, and I just have them layered out throughout there, right? I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.